The recession is officially over. You heard it here first, my friends. 1 July 2020. Bye-bye recession. And that might sound like, oh, what? I mean, let's think about it. This is actually not that big of a deal, but let's think about this. All right. It has nothing to do with the stock market having its best quarter since 1988 or 87 or something like that. I don't understand all these people who are lots of clickbait out there, that's for sure. I don't know how else to say it. But anyway, the reason the recession is over is because the level of decay of Q2 from an economic perspective. Right. So Q1 came in at negative 5%, which is a little bit higher than people, well, actually quite a bit higher than people initially anticipated. Brian Westbury and the boys at First Trust Portfolios initially expected about a 3% decline in Q1, and it came in at 5%. So Q2, some people at JP Morgan were thinking about a 30% decline. I think Westbury was thinking about a 20% decline. We'll split the difference and say 25%. All right, so we have -5, -25. Let's just say a 27.5% decline in GDP in Q1 and Q2. What does that mean for Q3? All right. Well, inherently, that means if we grow at all off a 27.5% decline, we are gone with a recession. The growth is here. You cannot have a recession if you're growing. And you're growing simply means you take the last quarter's growth, which is hugely negative for Q2. Are we going further down from that, or are we going up? And we're going to go up. It's just no two ways around that. Now, will that go up much? It doesn't matter. All that matters is that we go up. And so because it was such a huge decline in Q2, it doesn't take much for us to go up. It just doesn't. And we're already starting to see that. I mean, you see this a mile away, which is why it ticks me off about this whole thing about the shutdowns revisiting again. The whole thing is stupid about shutdowns. I don't know why anyone would trust our authorities when they're sitting there saying, let the science dictate, and then those same scientists, the same people, a lot of the health professionals are saying shut down STEM for Black Lives Matter. They're saying shut down, you don't have to wear a mask at protests. The whole thing is just nuts. And yet we're still falling for these guys hook, line, and sinker. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're not being locked down to the extent that we were. We're just not. So because of that, we will get some growth. But I mean, it's a growth off a floor that's significant. We've actually gone through the floor. We're sitting on the basement now. We're like, whoa, we're on our back. You know what I'm saying? And we're looking up. We weren't knocked out, but man, we got a freaking standing 8 count, that's for sure. But anyway, so the recession is over because we'll get some growth off a insanely negative GDP from Q2. And so you're going to start. So, I mean, what's going to happen here, my friends? You're going to have all these people say, we are in a recession. Oh, my goodness. What are we going to do? Like, see, this is what drives me crazy about clickbait, about YouTube, about the financial media, generally speaking. When they say we are in a recession, it's actually too late to do anything. Not that we should have done anything anyway. I mean, you should have saw this back in March, man. In March, the markets were predicting this when they fell by 35% in a month's time. They said because of lockdowns, because of all this stuff, there is going to be a hit to growth, a significant hit to growth. Last quarter, they say, well, because we've already on the floor, there's only one way to go, essentially, which is up. That's why the market jumped up so much. There's nothing to do. All this is hindsight. In hindsight, you can't build successful financial retirement planning on hindsight. You can't. You got to build on forward-looking. And forward-looking says, where were you in March telling me the recession was here? You should have been saying it was here. Now, what would you have done, though? What would you have done? Would you have got out of the market? Why? You would have missed that huge return. You just don't do anything. You stay in. Now, people might say, but Josh, you were saying, there's a depression coming. Yeah, I'm still stunned, to be honest with you, that 40 million jobs lost. The numbers just don't make sense to me. The numbers just don't make sense. But with that, I don't see how we don't have, It just doesn't make sense to me. But be it as it may, it is what it is. And so we're not in a depression. We're in a growth stage, which frankly doesn't mean that much. I mean, don't forget, even during the Great Depression, there were quarters of growth. All right. My whole thing with the Depression was we're going deflation. All right. The deflationary numbers in terms of cost of goods across the economy, not just specific, not just oranges, not just toilet paper, not just beef, but everything. Electricity is way down. I mean, the gas, all that. The cost to live your life across the economy relative to the numbers of CPI that the feds use, the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, uses for inflation, I think is going to be deflationary, at least for a couple quarters. If not deflationary, certainly it'll be low growth, that's for sure. So inflation is not the bugaboo. Can I even say that anymore? Because I guess bugaboo is some kind of right-wing thing now. Kind of like doing that. Look, I just did the okay sign. Oh my goodness, I must be a right-wing reactionary. People have gone crazy. All right, so anyway, the recession is over. What does that mean? Nothing. I mean, because you should have done nothing differently anyway. And don't listen to these freaking people like, oh, the recession's here. Because when they're saying that, they're saying it too late. You should have been saying that beforehand, but no one does because they just read the headlines and they say, oh, I got to go on YouTube or I got to write a blog post saying the recession's here. And that makes people worried. I'm like, okay, what do I do with the recession here? Oh my goodness, recession here. Do nothing. Look out the window. That's what you do. I will see you.